Audie Leon Murphy was born on June 20th, 1925, in Kingston, Texas, into a life shaped by hardship from the very start. He was the seventh of 12 children in a poor, sharecropping family, led by his parents, Emmett and Josie Bell Murphy. The Great Depression hit rural Texas brutally, and survival often depended on grit more than opportunity. When Audie was still young, his father abandoned the family, leaving his mother to raise the children alone under crushing circumstances. Tragedy struck again when Josie Bell died in 1941, forcing 16-year-old Audie to leave school with only a fifth-grade education to support his younger siblings. He took whatever work he could find, hunting to put food on the table, and learning self-reliance at an age when most boys were still children. These early years forged a quiet toughness in Murphy, instilling discipline, responsibility, and resilience, traits that would later define his extraordinary path and set him apart long before the world knew his name. A reluctant soldier turned warrior. In 1942, as World War II raged overseas, Audie Murphy sought to enlist in the U.S. military, determined to serve despite his youth and small stature. Standing just 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighing barely 110 pounds, he was repeatedly rejected by both the Navy and the Marine Corps for being underweight. The Army, however, accepted him, unknowingly welcoming one of the most extraordinary combat soldiers in American history. Murphy was assigned to the 3rd Infantry Division and deployed across North Africa, Sicily, Italy, France, and Germany. What he lacked in size, he more than compensated for in courage and instinct. Fellow soldiers soon recognized his natural leadership and battlefield awareness, traits that made him dependable under fire. Murphy never sought glory. He fought to protect his unit and complete the mission. Time and again, he volunteered for dangerous assignments, displaying a calm resolve that inspired those around him. His transformation from an overlooked recruit into a fierce warrior hero remains one of the most remarkable stories of the war. The day courage became legend on January 26, 1945, near Holtzwihr, France. Audie Murphy performed an act of valor that would cement his place in history. His company was under heavy assault by a superior German force supported by tanks already wounded. Murphy ordered his men to retreat to safety while he remained behind to cover them. Climbing onto a burning tank destroyer, fully exposed to enemy fire, he manned its .50 caliber machine gun and held off advancing troops for nearly an hour. At the same time, he directed artillery fire by radio, coordinating strikes with astonishing precision. Against overwhelming odds, Murphy stopped the enemy advance and allowed his unit to regroup and counterattack. For this action, he received the Medal of Honor at just 19 years old. By war's end, Murphy had earned every major U.S. combat decoration available, along with several foreign awards, making him the most decorated American soldier of World War II, a distinction earned through sacrifice, not ambition. Returning home to a different battle when the war ended, Audie Murphy returned home a national hero, celebrated in parades and headlines. Yet behind the public admiration, he carried invisible wounds. Like many veterans of his generation, Murphy suffered from what was then called battle fatigue, now recognized as post-traumatic stress disorder. He endured nightmares, insomnia, anxiety, and bouts of deep emotional strain. Rather than retreat into silence, Murphy spoke openly about his struggles at a time when mental health was rarely discussed, especially among men. He advocated for better treatment and understanding of veterans, using his platform to bring attention to the lasting psychological toll of combat. His honesty was groundbreaking and courageous in its own right. While Murphy's post-war years were marked by this internal conflict, a man praised for strength who quietly wrestled with vulnerability, his story reminds us that heroism does not end when the fighting stops, and that the cost of war often follows soldiers home long after the guns fall silent. Hollywood and an unlikely second act. Murphy's entry into Hollywood was unexpected even to himself. Encouraged by actor James Cagney, he pursued acting and gradually built a successful career, appearing in more than 40 films. Though often cast in westerns and war movies, Murphy never viewed himself as a traditional movie star. His performances were understated, grounded, and authentic, qualities audiences found compelling. His most famous film, To Hell and Back, 1955, adapted from his own memoir, became a massive box office success. In a rare and powerful move, Murphy played himself, reliving his wartime experiences on screen with raw sincerity. If beyond acting, he explored songwriting, co-writing country and western songs, recorded by artists such as Dean Martin and Charlie Pride. Murphy approached Hollywood with humility, viewing it as work rather than spectacle. For him, filmmaking was not about fame, but about discipline and storytelling. His success proved that authenticity, not glamour, was the foundation of his enduring appeal. Relationships, family, and private struggles. Audie Murphy's personal life reflected the same mix of intensity and vulnerability that shaped his career. His first marriage to actress Wanda Hendricks in 1949 was brief and strained by fame, emotional wounds, and the pressures of public life, ending in divorce in 1951. Shortly afterward, Murphy married Pamela Opal Lee Archer, a former airline stewardess whose steady presence brought balance to his life. Together, they raised two sons, Terry Michael and James Shannon, creating a sense of normalcy Murphy deeply valued. Family became his anchor, offering stability amid lingering trauma and chronic pain from wartime injuries. Pamela supported him through difficult years, helping him navigate the challenges of fame and emotional recovery. While Murphy never fully escaped the scars of war, his home life provided moments of peace and grounding. His devotion to his children revealed a softer side of a man often remembered only for his battlefield bravery. A tragic end in the Virginia mountains. On May 28, 1971, Audie Murphy's life came to an abrupt and tragic end. He was a passenger aboard a private twin-engine Aero Commander aircraft flying through dense fog and poor weather over Brush Mountain near Roanoke, Virginia. The plane crashed into the mountainside, killing Murphy and the 5 others on board instantly. Official investigations concluded that the accident was caused by pilot error and limited visibility in hazardous terrain. Murphy was just 45 years old. His death shocked the nation and marked the loss of a uniquely American figure, a soldier, advocate, artist, and father. He was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery, a quiet grave befitting his humility. Despite his legendary status, Murphy requested a simple headstone free of embellishment. His passing was not marked by mystery, but by sorrow, and his legacy endures not because of how he died, but because of how fully and bravely he lived. Legacy of a reluctant hero. Audie Murphy's life remains one of the most extraordinary journeys in American history. From an impoverished childhood to the battlefields of Europe, from private suffering to public service, he embodied resilience in its truest form. Murphy never sought to be a symbol, yet he became one of courage under fire, honesty about trauma, and humility in success. His willingness to speak openly about the mental health struggles of veterans helped change conversations that had long been silenced. As an actor, he brought authenticity to the screen, never romanticizing war, but honoring those who endured it. Today, Murphy is remembered not only for his medals, but for his humanity. His story reminds us that heroes are not defined by perfection, but by perseverance. Audie Murphy lived with quiet strength, carried heavy burdens without complaint, and left behind a legacy rooted in truth, sacrifice, and compassion, one that continues to inspire generations long after his final salute.